Hello everyone, Lana here, back with another video, and today we are diving into a D&D campaign we played long time ago, me and my friends, and this is a little bit of a special case because I honestly don't remember much of this campaign except a few things and certain character we will be talking about here today. So if some parts are a little bit iffy, it's mainly because I don't remember so much of it because it was kind of hasty, it was kind of a mess. My friend that was a DM was moving away, so we kind of compressed the entire campaign very hastily, and the ending became kind of a bit crazy and all that. It was still a fun campaign, and it was a really fun time, though I don't remember so much, but particular certain things, and those are the things we're gonna talk about today, or rather this one character. And with that, let's jump into the story. It was a long time ago when me and my friends played D&D. I think it was our very first campaign in the game, though not our first TTRPG, as we had played for years before I tried D&D. Though our DM had played it before, hence he would DM it. I don't remember what version we played, but I was one of the older ones, and I did mainly play a sorcerer with undead and dragon bloodline. Even if I don't remember much about him, I do remember his name, Sirius, since I was inspired with it from Sirius Black in Harry Potter. Kinda cringe, but it was a long time ago, and I remember him being a very edgy but knowledgeable man with a very messy bloodline. In a big dramatic part of the campaign was it a big battle in a city. My memory of it is pretty vague, but I remember we joined the gods, leading them fighting against cultists that appeared in the city. Their goal was to conquer it, and we tried to stop them. My brother had decided to join us in the campaign, making a half-orc barbarian that would literally cleave everyone, and with him did I do an extra character that would join as well. I still remember the character well. It was a dwarf fighter with the heaviest of armors, thick plates and massive shield, and a big hammer fitting a sturdy dwarf. The helmet was protecting their face except slits for the eyes, and of course a large smoking pipe protruding from the helmet. They were like an armored train with smoke in the trail as they bulldozed through the field of enemies with a half-orc friend. In a sense, we did the opposite of each other. My brother played the offensive threat, while I played the defensive wall. They would later meet up with the rest of the party, and we had gotten used to our new characters and their skills. We knew the cultists served a greater evil, though they were pretty weak. Was there some enemies far more dangerous than those? In the service of this great evil was a female dwarf rogue, an assassin that proved to be far stronger than any other we met so far. In an instant had she appeared and struck my dwarf through the visor and into their eye. The damage was massive and knocked them out instantly, before the other arrived and hurt the rogue that vanished before we could catch her. My dwarf had fallen to the ground, unconscious from the wound, and the group quickly ran to help. It was when they removed the helmet to care for their wound that they all were met with a bit of a surprise. The dwarf fighter, my character, was female. It wasn't anything grand, but it was fun to see everyone's expression when I explained it was a woman. For me was it big though, as it was one of the first female characters I ever played in a TTRPG, and she was pretty damn badass. After the fight, they managed to patch her up, and she told them her full name was Dolana a warrior traveling wide and far to find her father that had been missing for a long time. She donned her family great armors in ways so people wouldn't bother her for being a woman, and in her eyes, well, now I was just a hassle. Under the travels with the party did Dolana take on a role as a big sister of the group, as well as the frontline tank, which was pretty fun to see. One second was she perfectly skinning a bear, cooking dinner, and then tank a massive troll with unmatched strength. For me was Dolana character that made me realize more than ever that women were more than just dandy princesses needed of saving. They could be caring but also strong. They could make dinner but also skin the freaking bear they killed for the soup. And that's why I remember her far more than my main character in the campaign, Sirius. Continuing with the adventure, do I remember vividly when the campaign reached its end. Sadly, due to time constraints and our DM moving away, was the ending rushed and kind of a mess. Still great fun though, and before the grand battle was our party in a town, replenishing and preparing for the final encounter. Fittingly, it was the dwarf holiday too, and all dwarves bars were full with dwarves celebrating the occasion. Dolana was not one to skip it either, and would fest like no tomorrow, because it might not be another. Dolana sang loudly as she raised her mug of ale, not caring if spilling some of the content. No one did. In the crowded room full of dwarves had she taken center stage and sang with full heart. Without her heavy armor and golden hair free, could you never known she was the warrior from before. Sure, Dolana was strong as ever, but right now was she not a strong warrior, but just an happy dwarf singing her heart out. It was then another woman grabbed her hand, her freckled face in a big grin. "Up here with ye!" she shouted, and Agile jumped up on the table, with a loud cheering of the dwarfs around. "You're crazy!" Dolana exclaimed as the other just laughed. "I know!" Joining the table did the two dwarfs lock arm and they danced around the table. Their voice sang loudly, and no dwarf was quiet that day, as they all sang with them. They didn't know their past together, but for the night, it didn't matter. Long into the night did they party, and the next morning did Dolana leave early for her last mission, to fight the evil plaguing these lands. There was no regrets in her steps, only a joyful glister in her eye, that if she would fall today, then she would know she lived to her fullest. And if she survived, maybe she could meet that woman again. It wasn't a bad thought. However, fate is playful at times, and they would meet again sooner than expected. Because it was later revealed that the woman Dolana sang and danced with all night was the assassin that took her eye. Neither had recognized the other, as they had no armor nor cloth hiding their faces, as they had celebrated together all night long. Just like I had pulled one on DM for hiding Dolana's gender, did he pull this, and I thought it was amazing. It was also revealed later that the assassin had been forced to do these things she'd done, as her child was held hostage by the evil mastermind. To protect the child would she do anything, even kill, hence she became an assassin. In the end did she help them to find the evil master behind all this, and the final fight went down. Dolana was mostly in the background of it, as she would fight some of the enemies and hold them back while the rest of the main party would storm and deal with the final boss. I do remember Sirius unleashing his final powers, becoming a large zombie dragon. Pretty epic and crazy, but it was cut short as the DM needed to go. Sadly, did I never RP Dolana again, as the campaign was over and we mostly RP'd other games than D&D. However, I still have many memories of her, and I still use her in different settings for my other works. In fact, she is one of my biggest favorites and might get another video talking about these other stories and works where she's in, being the main character. While my memories of this campaign, as mentioned, is pretty hazy, do I have spots of clarity and remember mostly Dolana for all the things she did. Except all the friendly fire happening, but that's a story for another time. Even if she wasn't the main character of the party, was her role important and she did it brilliant. And for me, did she become a very important character for the future. And who knows what happened to Dolana after the campaign? Maybe she met the assassin again. Maybe they traveled together. It doesn't sound bad at all, and maybe that's a story I will write in the future. It started as a joke, with a dwarf hiding their gender within an armor, and then becomes something much greater than that. It is funny how many characters I make to be a joke, they turn to become a much more serious and an important character for me. Maybe it's the many facets of a character that while they might appear as a joke in the beginning, do they have depths just waiting to be explored. And sometimes you strike gold.